The round of 16 have already started and matches went on yesterday. Let's not forget Argentina on Australia. That was the game that actually led up the round of 16 with a very beautiful victory. And we also saw the Netherlands and the United States of America take on each other. And the Netherlands really better of both sides. I'm not alone in the studio. I'm joined by Arise sports correspondent Aaron Akerejola to take us through the happenings here in Qatar and the World Cup.
Yeah, fantastic day. Good afternoon to you, Abby. And I must say, it has been a good start to the round of 16. And I'm expecting more fireworks today, tomorrow, and the rest of the days.
It's definitely going to be an intense one. Like we know, every game brings its own peculiarities and its own interesting moments. Yesterday, for the United States of America, they crashed out to the Netherlands by 3-1. First of all, Aaron, I think a lot of people expected the Netherlands to be the better of both sides. Did you see them totally getting 3 goals ahead of the United States?
On paper, yes.
Yeah.
Understanding that Memphis Depay was fit for the game, he started. In the opening 10 minutes, he actually found the back of the net. And that set the tone for what was to come. It's unfortunate that the U.S. national team, one of the youngest sides in this competition, I think the only team that was younger than the U.S. team was the Ghanaian team. So this is a team for the future. They host the World Cup in 2026. So certainly they have an eye on what will be happening in 2026. And I'm hoping that this helps them gauge where they are. Young, talented side. No one was expecting them to do more than what they have actually done. And that free goal by Wright is still being talked about. Did he actually mean it or not? But nevertheless, the Orange will take a lot of solace from this particular game, knowing that the bigger test is ahead. This is when their World Cup has just begun, because they've bought themselves trouble. You know, as they always say, the price of success is more success. By winning the game against the United States of America, they've bought themselves a tie against the Albiceleste of Argentina. Can you beat that?
It doesn't get better than what we are currently witnessing. First of all, Argentina came all out against Australia, but Australia, towards the end, gave us the fireworks. For Lionel Messi, he played his 1,000th career goal, his 100th as an Argentine captain, and he got his first World Cup knockout goal. Can it get better than that?
First of all, a lot of people, of course, back home, so many of my friends say I'm a huge critic of Lionel Messi. And that is for this particular reason. Mm-hmm. His goal per game ratio, especially in knockout competitions, dropped by almost 60, sometimes 70% when it gets to the knockout phases. That should not be. But for the first time, I'm happy that for the first time in the history of the World Cup, and for the first time in a long time, he has actually risen to the occasion, past the group stages, and actually scored a goal in the knockout phase. Because if you actually score a plethora of goals in the group stages and you do not rise to the occasion in the knockout stage where it matters the most, it always beats my imagination how he does that. Because we know he has the goods. He can deliver. We saw it yesterday. He can deliver. But why he doesn't come to the party in terms of goals? People talk about his all-round play. Agreed. But Lionel Messi is one of the best goal scorers in the world. I don't know why people will want to reduce him to a midfield player. He's not a midfield player. He's deadly in front of goal.
But sometimes he will need to step up as a midfield player when his teammates do not do the job.
That's the
teamwork.
Irony. that's the fallacy. He's most potent in front of goal more than any other place. Mm-hmm. Like you've seen with prolific strikers, all he needs is one good chance and something will happen. When it drops to the midfield, he sacrifices the opportunity to be in a vantage position to be able to stick the ball into the back of the net. He doesn't have the legs anymore. Because right now, if you see Lionel Messi moving, he actually had some foray of runs, but it was almost like in slow motion, if you'd ask me. he needs to be in front of the goal. He needs to play higher up the pitch.
So what you mean to say is that his team needs to step up in the midfield, because like we saw yesterday, Di Maria wasn't there, but the likes of Enzo Fernandez, Rodrigo de Paul stepped up. Alvarez, they were in control.
Fantastic. And that's the point, because look at what happened. The touch and go for the goal meant that if Lionel Messi was a little bit deeper, or probably trying to take a little bit deeper, he wouldn't have been at that particular position to try to... That was typical Lionel Messi goal. He scored it over 1 million times in his career, or probably you say over 700 times in his career. When you look at that, that is what you should do. Because at the World Cup in 2014, they lost to Germany. And I was asking myself the question, people were making a case for why Lionel Messi should come into the midfield. And I'm asking myself the question, what is he doing in the midfield? Stick him up there. Get one chance, get a good chance. Trust me, he will bury that chance. Why sacrifice him and say because the players are not rising to the occasion? He should trust his teammates more to do the job in the midfield, with the hope that when the ball gets to him, he will be able to stick the ball into the back of the net. Because all that matters in football, after all has been said and done, is that what is the scoreline? The scoreline is what will determine whether a team has won a tournament or not whether you played in the midfield and the number of passes and the number of dribbles and the number of completed passes and the number of interceptions you've made. Goals win tournaments.
Yeah, talking about goals winning tournaments, the victory for both the Netherlands and the Argentine national team mean that Lionel Messi and Memphis Depay will clash in the quarterfinals. And as we already know, both sides have met 5 times. It's an even tie. Both sides have met 5 times. They've recorded victories twice each and 1 draw. The last time they met at the World Cup was in 2014. In semi-finals, where Argentina got the better of them at the penalty shootout. But currently, with the formation of the team, with the squad depth and everything, what do you think needs to be done by either side to actually progress?
I'm fearful for Argentina. Yeah. The Abyssinians, we need to be careful. We need to be careful because understanding that they are not going to be facing the attacking line of Saudi Arabia. Yeah. If the Socceroos were this close to stretching that game into extra time, then I fear for Argentina because they will be going against Memphis Depay. They will be going against Bergwijn. They will be going against Dumfries and the likes, to mention but a few, which is a complete different scenario from what they've actually experienced. And they actually let themselves down, if you'd ask me, because Otamendi and the gang, they have no reason to the occasion. If the Socceroos were a little bit more composed, probably that game was there for the taking. The Netherlands will not be that sloppy like probably Australia did. The Netherlands will not be that sloppy like Poland. So they need to be careful. And I think I'm hoping Argentina actually progresses, because if they do that, that means they will be meeting, there's like the permutations that they will be meeting Brazil in the semifinals. And that will be a game to die for. So I'm hoping that Argentina, for the sake of the World Cup, gets to the semifinals. But they will need to work hard for it. They cannot rest on their oars. They thought they had won the game because they went 2 up. And yesterday, look at what happened. A free goal brought the Socceroos back into it. And the brilliance of Emiliano Martinez saved their blushes. Saved their blushes. They cannot be that careless. They cannot be that lethargic going into the latter parts of the game. They will be put to the sword.
Well, like we already know, the round of 16 is up and running, and matches will be going on tonight. Well, Senegal take on England and France take on Poland. For Senegal, Senegal will be hoping to get their world cut out against the English side, which boosts the likes of Harry Kane, Raheem Sterling, Declan Rice, and everyone. But Idrissa Gueye is suspended already, adding to the woes of the Senegalese side, who have already started this World Cup campaign without Sadio Mane. What will have to go on in that midfield to ensure that they are able to stop the attacking powers of the English side?
Now, put it into context. My fear is not just that Idrissa Gueye, who is their most capped player, is actually suspended because of the number of cards he's actually gotten. The fact that Checo Kyoto is also injured on the sidelines means that they've missed, or they are missing 2 prolific midfielders, 2 ball carriers,
Yeah,
2 water
decent.
carriers
Oh my
in that particular lineup. How would they fare? That's why this man is getting paid. I don't want to worry myself about how would they fare, because that's why Aliou Cisse is getting paid. He's their most successful coach as we speak. He's done so much for them. This is where he needs to earn his money. This is where he needs to earn his chops as a coach, because he will need to think of that team. Because from all we are hearing from the Three Lions camp, they want to go all out attacking. This man has decided to lift the handbrakes off talking about Gareth Southgate. He has said that he wants to stick in Bukayo Saka, Harry Kane, Marcus Rashford, and Phil Foden, all in the attacking lineup. This is going to be the first time he'll be doing this at this stage of a competition. He wants to go for the killer. Now, Aliou Cisse knows this. What can he do to mitigate this is left to be seen. This is where he needs to earn his chops. I'm hoping he rises to the occasion, lest Senegal are out.
Well, we'll see how that pans out. We're now going to short break, and when we return, we will continue still the round of 16 of the World Cup. Stay with us. Well, hello and welcome back to Still Global Sports Report here on Arise News with me, Abi Yomo, and I'm still joined by Aaron Akere-Jola. Well, it is still the match between the Teranga Lions and the Three Lions of England, and that's a match so many are waiting for. 9 times African teams have faced European teams, and 8 times they lost to the European teams, but except one, Senegal recording a victory over Sweden in the knockout stage. At this point, can the Senegalese side actually cause an upset? This will be an upset to end all upsets, because the English side have been chasing a second World Cup trophy for a very long time.
They've sung, I think the record is
coming home.
It is coming home. The record is actually broken right now from singing It's Coming Home. But they were close in 2018. Give it to them.
Yeah,
and they even got closer at the Euros. And they'll be hoping that this time around they can take a step further. But you and I know that they are not the favorites, but they are contenders, huge contenders. I give it to them. They have the squad, they have depth in squad, and we're hoping that that plays into the context. And I think the media also are shaping how Gareth Southgate sees the squad and actually chooses his formation. Like we said, the news that is out there coming from the camp of the Three Lions is the fact that he's taking all the handbrakes off this time around. He wants to go after them like a ravaging beast. He wants to go after the Teranga Lions with the hope that they can probably secure early goals. Marcus Rashford says he wants to be the Kylian Mbappe of the Three Lions of England. That's a huge statement to make, but you cannot doubt him. Kylian Mbappe has 3 goals. Who else has 3 goals? I'm like sideline of Messi and the rest of them, Marcus Rashford. So certainly he can make that kind of statement. And if we're to go by the information filtering to us, and that Marcus Rashford will be starting today, maybe from the left or maybe from the right. Who knows? He's looking sharp. He's looking like a complete different animal from the Marcus Rashford we saw at Manchester United, that was looking tame, that was looking lost, that was looking very, very timid, or probably he was looking like a mediocre, to say the least.
Yeah.
We are hoping that if England can raise their game, it only makes the quarterfinals, the semifinals, and the finals more interesting. For the Teranga Lions, I don't know. This is where it gets tricky.
Looking at the possible starting lineup, they will have to line up players like Boulaye Dia, Ismail Assar, Ndiaye, Papi Cisse, Diallo, Koulibaly. Do you think, when you look at the English squad that had the likes of Mason Mount, Rashford, like you said, Foden, Harry Kane, Bukayo Saka, Bellingham, it's definitely going to be a tall order for the Senegalese side.
Tall order. But now, let's look at this tournament. I am now beginning to question maybe the Three Lions might not be able to do it, because which Three Lions will show up on the day is the big question. Is it the one that played a very, very anemic game against the USA, or the Three Lions that completely blew out their opponents, Iran, in their first game? We would have to wait and see. Because the Teranga Lions know that they need a lot of heart to make this one happen. They are missing almost all their key players. Because when you don't have a Sadio Mane up front, in the midfield, you're lacking Idrissa Gueye, you're lacking Cheikhou Kouyaté. Where does the stardust come from? But this is where players show desire. Because one thing we've seen at this World Cup is that names have not been respected. It is
Nobody
what
cares.
you do on the pitch of play.
Yes. You do the talking on the pitch.
Yes, if you do the talking on the pitch, it will help you. The soccer rules didn't have much pedigree, but went into that game yesterday and showed themselves worthy of their place in the round of 16. If Senegal can do that, Aliou Cissé can galvanize this team together, Aliou Cissé can drive this team together and say, we can do this. Who knows? Something needs to happen. Something just freakish needs to happen. And the Three Lions might be unsettled. And before you know what's happening, we're talking about the Senegalese being in the quarterfinals of this competition. It is possible, but they will need to have a game of games. They will need to have a superlative game to make that happen. It's not going to be easy, but they will need to raise their game like they've never done before. They've been slow burners over the years because they've been building this team.
I think there's something Gareth Southgate will not be hoping to happen. That's the penalty kick. So when he gets to the penalty kicks, you know the English side have really not been sharp in front. Or except they finish, they get everything they want to do in 90 minutes or 98 minutes as in total.
That's why. Maybe that's why Gareth Southgate is going for a very attacking formation in this particular game, because he knows that if the Senegalese defense shut up their defense and keep it tight at the back and keep it disciplined at the back, it might spell trouble for them. Although they've spoken about the fact that if Bukayo Saka is on the pitch, if Marcus Rashford is on the pitch,
Foden, Bellingham.
No, for these two black guys, that they will be taking penalties, regardless of what happened at the Euros. So that's quite bold. But I say to myself that Senegal would take their chances. They'll fancy their chances in this game.
Aaron, amen to that. But okay, another game we'll be taking on, and that is France and Poland. The last time France lost to Poland was 40 years ago. France, at this point, they might not be looking as sharp as they ought to be, notwithstanding the beautiful efforts we've seen from Kylian Mbappe. But the Polish side also came off a loss in the last group game, as well as France. What are the odds between these two sides?
I would say that the Polish side are the most disappointing team still in the competition as we speak. I've not seen a team that woeful. I've not seen a team that lacked spirit. I've not seen a team that lacked verve. I've not seen a team that lacked any kind of continuity. They did not show any kind of desire against the RB Leipzig of Argentina. How Argentina kept the scoreline at 2-0 still beats me.
Beyond me.
Poland did not have a single shot on target in the entire 90 minutes. That is dreadful. For a team that boasts of Lewandowski.
A lot of players, Aaron.
I'm asking
Milik,
the question.
Matty Cash, there are players in that squad. It's not a Lewandowski squad alone.
What the point is now, because it shows that service has not been given to Lewandowski.
Yeah.
Because between his first goal at the World Cup and the 2018 World Cup where he didn't score a goal, over 200 goals, I think about 202 goals have been scored by Lewandowski. He knows where the back of the net is. All you need to do is give him service. Give him quality service at the right places. He knows how to finish the game. How they went for 90 minutes and they didn't get a single. They had 4 shots. Not a single one on target was dreadful. And if they do that against France, I'm sure Kylian Mbappe will be licking his lips because he will be saying that this is my golden ball, a golden boot for the taking.
Well, we'll see how that goes. But aside these two games, like we already know, games will go on in the round of 16 on Tuesday and, of course, on Monday. But before we go, in a few minutes, Aaron, Morocco and Spain, both sides have played 3 times. 2 times, Spain defeated Morocco once, they drew. But this is a different Moroccan side. There's the likes of Ziyech, there's Hakimi, there's Boufal, there's Bonu, there's En-Nesyri. What are the odds? Can Spain, well, do something different? We've not seen the spark to Spain this time out.
No,
except the 7-0.
They started like a house of fire.
7-0.
They started like a house of fire.
Yeah.
They said the introduction to the 2022 World Cup was with a bang, literally. But sometimes when you go all out in your first game, it gets to rub you off on the next games.
Yeah.
Spain will need to actually raise their game, lest Morocco have their hands in the quarterfinals. If you'd ask me, Spain will need to literally raise their games. Maybe the older guys are beginning to show their age, talking about the Busquets of this world, Jordi Alba. When you look at the defense, when you look at the defensive line, why Rodri is still defending for them? I'm wondering. Beats my mind. And you had Sergio Ramos for the taking. But that's Luis Enrique. He's a maverick. He's eccentric. And he might pay for it.
He has a unique style.
He might pay for it. But let's see what happens.
Who knows, Aaron? Who knows? Who knows how it will end up for these sides? But definitely, we are still on to the round of 16, and which ends on Tuesday. By Tuesday night, we'll know the teams who progress to the last 8. It's been a pleasure, Aaron.
Give us Brazil, Argentina in the quarterfinal, in the semi-final.
Exactly, yes. It's been a pleasure, Aaron. And that's where we'll call it a wrap to the show. Global Sports Report on Rise News. We'll see you same time next week. Bye.